Este na Junta. Pues sino ako pa po Mr. Director. Second Haji Managui.
No, I think it's
Mr. Director.
Yeah, I think I'll go
do the roll call.
Okay, the executive director and Goku here. This board meeting here is being called to order by the acting chair, Vice Chairman, Mr. Ronald Laponia. I'm going to call roll call here for attendance. Commissioner Adriana. Okay, he's giving notice that he's at the doctor's clinic with a cough. Vice Chair Laponia. Secretary Treasurer Cruz.
Here.
Commissioner Ronald F. Macabea.
Present.
Commissioner Anita F. Orlino.
Here.
Commissioner Louisa M. Westling has given notification that she is sick and she will not be attending today's meeting. And Commissioner Angela M. Camacho has indicated she is 30 minutes late.
Okay. We have Mr. James P. Diaz. Mr. James P. Diaz, in high possibly about 95%, will not be returning to work with the Ancestral Lands Commission. He was on a 90-day detail, but some conditions prevent him from coming back to work here.
Okay.
Attorney Nicholas Doft.
Here.
Joey Aguero. Here. Land Agent 1, Liza Camacho. She was in early this morning, but she had to go and see the doctor. She's sick. And Land Agent Trainee Anthony Mendiola.
Present.
And myself, Executive Director and Goku here.
Okay, so just once again,
we have a
Director.
A quorum.
Okay. Pues bueno, según la público 24/109 Gini ni Komisyon Minanehan Tano Manaynata ni Mapublika este na anuncio di Merkulis di Febrero dia 12 2020 di post talo di Merkulis dia 5 di Febrero dan di Lunes dia 10 di Febrero 2020. Dus niet al dat van tomorrow. Dus Iran ik weer, ze dan altijd die voor C, van C. You see, pengen you see. Good.
Ready? Kanogi
Samoru, Puritanota, Kantai Matunanya Gitoru Inuka. Para gloria, aviva isla sen para honra, para gloria, aviva isla sen para. Todo y tiempo pas para kita dan di langit na bendición contra peligro na pansofohan Deus protege San Juan contra peligro na pansofohan Deus protege San Juan. Gini fresi, gini mastakilo inasoko, gini mastakilo di corazono, gini masfigo na dinasyaho, ofreces mais sado para bem protege, dano defendi, ihinengi, i cultura, i linguaje, i aire, i amen, danitano samoro. Ni shakku diretso gini na zustata, Estilo a fitna, gini Biblia, dani balirao, i balera wahan. Viva! Viva! Viva Manototano!
Viva!
Dito na sa esta na komisyon sumotsogi na anonggi danamago para espiritu di manaynata winigi danota magay Stigi ser minagay ser gagi pago gi minatres ima preba ni mal finalofan na diskutasyon Cocina natin na, por favor. Donta, cosa kita na ma-prueba. Para enero, dia 22, no? Apa tu? Dia apa nak tahu? Ben? Koga otros, aren't ada? Bisa no, sino? Ya.
Mr. Just a comment.
Mano, agusha.
Do you want in the minutes, right?
Right, go agusha.
Okay. This is regards to the Vita's report. Although it is submitted today, I just wanted noted that I did make the request for the 6-month financial report on our MOUs and breakdowns such as rent amount received, amount deducted for management fee, and amount issued to GALC. So I just want to notate that I did make the request, although it's good that it's presented today, I can see that. But some kind of like, whenever we make a request, right, it should be noted in the minutes.
Okay.
So that, if it's not done, we can make a reference that we did make that request on the last, on the board meeting.
Okay, just one Commissioner Cruz.
I think that it is submitted, but just whenever there's a concern or a comment, it should be notated in the minutes.
Di mana na banda ini Commissioner?
Under Gita's report.
Under Gita's report.
Right. On the minutes.
The minutes. Joey?
Yes, sir.
Siguro ni Commissioner Cruz, hamentin na David yung hanap na manggagaw with 6 meses na informasyon ginigina o mapiging ginigi pinalokan ni diskutasyon di mapunahunta. Pinunta gini na Joy na mapigaw ng yung preno.
Vice Chair, may kasi si Commissioner Lino kanan at 3 meses kinagaw niya o 6 meses?
6 meses.
Excuse me, Tony Ariola from GITA. The request, Vice Chair Loy, was for the first quarter 2020.
Okay.
For October, November, and December. It wasn't a 6-month account summary report. Just stand corrected on that.
Okay, first quarter. Por quarto, it's agreed, right, by quarters?
Yes, sir.
Okay, October, November, December.
Commissioner Cruz?
Where's Monica?
I guess we can just discuss the minutes now, and we'll read it.
Okay.
We'll go ahead and discuss further when they present their report.
Iginagaw mo ka. Basta.
Okay, pues gatalo through boss.
Mr. Vice Chair, I just want to bring up, this brought up to me by Line Agent 1, Line Agent 2, Julian Grill, on item 3 here, that there's a typo here, typographical error. Roman numeral 3, letter A, it's January 22nd instead of January 8th.
Okay, start.
So noted.
Yeah. Okay, start. Makurihin ang pa ako. She's not seeing another.
20 minutes agenda. No?
I'm sorry?
The agenda. Okay. January 8 mateka.
Yeah.
Okay. Tanto yung agenda no makurihin.
Okay, get tarea. Yeah, no, tagay na kasi na matulay ka. So, gano'n get tarea.
Yeah.
Okay, tulay ka. Commissioner Cruz. Para 22. Talmos. Tutuhulay sa tumayugin na dyan. Saya nga Mr. Director, Law. Puro sa may karantin niya, muna ay nag-video may
Subject to audio.
recording. Pues ka motion para ma-preba?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion gini na sa Commissioner Calvea, Vice Ginduzi.
I second.
Okay, so Ginduzi is Commissioner Cruz. Lugar de discussão. Lugar de discussão. A questão. Azar. Pues todo el mundo a favor. ¿Van a juzgar? Okay, pues dada la discusión para la desaprueba. Entonces, señor John, la aprueba. Está.
Okay.
Rafael Paulo. Y número 4. Y hagas na top. Letra A. Mira, por favor.
Buenas and good afternoon, Vice Chair Guanya, Commissioner Lino, Commissioner Clavea, Commissioner Cruz, Attorney Nick Toff, and GLC Director Joan Goku and your staff. My name is Tony Ariola. I'm acting on behalf, or I'm representing the Guam Economic Development Authority, and we also are the property managers for the land bank trust properties that we handle for the Guam Ancestral Lands Commission. And we're here to make a report for all the tenants that have leases with us via PETA's property management and through GALC. Starting out with Apra Harbor parcel number 1, this is the property in PD. Tenant is Cook Space. They're current with their lease rents. I was also asked by the last commission board meeting to go ahead and add their monthly payment, and on this one it's $3,871.80.
Wow.
Moving on down to the other Apra Harbor parcel under Matson Navigation. Their lease rent is also current in that. And of course, the lot Apra Harbor Reservation F12, we're awaiting the Brownsville assessment application. That's going to be done sometime in the spring of this year.
May I ask, Mr. Chairman, may I ask, did the federal entity where the Brownsville request was routed to, did they give like an approximate date? Because spring usually begins in April, right?
Yeah, I believe between March and June. Between March and June of this year.
Okay. Yeah. The reason I wanted to bring that up, there, Mr. Vice Chair, is that there are other entities that are interested in that area that's has trash in it down there, the Polaris Point.
Yeah.
And I would not recommend a move on that unless we get the response from for that federal grant to clean up the area, and in that way we don't have to lose any money in regards to having to offset the cost of the lease just because they're going to clean up the trash and whatever other proposals they might make in regards to cleaning up that area. So we're just waiting for the response from the federal government.
Okay. Mr. Nanga, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Congrats, Commissioner Correa.
Do you recall the first time that you brought up the Brownsville grant? When was it brought up to the board? Do you recall?
God, maybe three prior board meetings.
That's the first time?
Yes.
You know, it was brought to the board prior to that. You're talking about
maybe
2 months ago, 3 months ago?
Yeah. Possibly around that time, Commissioner Covey.
Well, longer than that.
Yeah.
It was longer.
My memory serves me correctly. I believe sometime in November.
Yeah.
Last year.
Right.
Well,
In November, very first board meeting in November.
that's the very first time you brought
That's correct.
Okay, Executive Director.
I just want our Executive Director Goku here. I believe that Mr. Ariola wasn't on board yet with GIDA in previous years when the board was requesting to pay sentence to that Brownsville grant request.
Oh, you were talking about the very first
The
initial application?
Right, since I've been in, then it was brought up in November or maybe prior to that in regards to the Brownsville funding request. But it was brought up previous years.
Ja, het is niet te mij, het is die oude.
Right.
Het is dan net die.
Sure, do all right.
Dat valt.
Yeah, people are so
Victorino?
Yeah.
Not maguf, not maguf.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Just
Kasi
one.
makan na mo. Okay, kita sila konsigi.
So,
Okay, continuing on of AT&T, the Tengisan Cable Land Station, Dedado, that's the cable station down in where to the NCS beach. The tenant's also current in their lease rent, and they're currently paying $22,939 and 42 cents. Yeah. Moving on down to N5D Manila Route 15, as you know, they're going through a court hearing, some court litigation, a court hearing scheduled for May 27th, so we're still waiting for that in 3 months. We'll see how that goes. Moving on down Northern Market, this is the property up in Dildo right across GRMC. They're also current with their lease rent, and you may notice that the monthly here is $10,000 because of the 1-year rent deferral.
Right.
Yeah, that runs all the way to September 30th this year.
September 30.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to Guam Environmental Protection Agency. Everybody knows about the MOU still with the AG. But moving on to the issue of the Guam Environmental Protection Agency's roof repair.
Okay.
What we basically did was we went ahead and heard the JLC director's recommendation and the board commissioners that they wanted the scope of work to be revised, and we went ahead and made 2 scope of work for this roof repair. It's before everybody here that we passed on to.
is it here?
Yes.
Yeah, section 4.
Yeah.
Mr. Director, speak on it.
Yes,
Do that?
yes, if it's okay, there, Mr. Ariola. I just wanted to clarify for Vice Chair because he was not here at the last meeting.
Right.
That the substance of that meeting was that the board had basically agreed to go on a solution for short-term fix. Since we've been way behind and the rainy season is going to be upon us, and we wanted to ensure that the people, the EPA, the employees there, were not working in unsafe conditions. And so the board had basically agreed to looking at a short-term fix that would be substantially cheaper in cost. And that's where NIDA is heading with this, and that's why they want a scope of work that has to be put out. Commissioner Louisa Westling indicated her interest in being involved in that. I have indicated my interest simply because I used to be a licensed building contractor, but I still indicate my interest, and I want to work with EDA if the board agrees to it, to put out to be involved in the scope of work so we can move this forward, because it's taking way too long just to going through the processes, and we need to address that problem. I wouldn't want to work up there in the building, leaking like that.
Yeah.
It's got to be substantially less because this is not as complex. It is not it's not as work intensive as what the board originally agreed upon.
So regarding what's on the first page of section 4, that's basically outlining what the new RFP would entail.
That according to Mr. Ariola,
The V-cut, the inject epoxy, that's basically
Right.
let
me go ahead and point out for project scope 1 in section 4.
Okay.
This is like a simpler method to repair the roof repair, as opposed to project scope 2, where it's a longer method that includes regulatory requirements, project condition, inspection, and all that. And
So are you and the director? Are you guys comfortable with us moving forward with this?
Director Ngoku here. I'd like to be involved in the scope of work. I'm not going to hold up matters any, as everybody in this room can hear. I want to ensure that they're just not going to slap on any kind of silicone roof paint, and I want it to be clear, because this is not just going to be water blasting. You have torn that roof, and it's got to be removed. Otherwise, that silicone or whatever material they're going to place in it, that's a quick fix,
is not going
Sounds
to
good.
adhere. It's not going to adhere to the finished roof slab, to the surface. The water blasting has to be done at the last scope of cleaning up the roof slab.
Yeah.
But prior to that, it's going to take more than just water blasting. Water blasting will not remove existing tar. It will not remove existing tar.
Okay, so I agree. Let's go ahead and make with, Commissioner Wesley, our director, part of the inspection, I guess, right? Inspection team that's going to...
It's just to be involved in the scope of work.
Scope of work and
Yes.
evaluating it,
So
right?
would you guys
Yeah,
let
okay.
us know
So
by
what do we
today?
need to do? Do we need to do anything else or no?
Yes, we will need for any of you to tell us which scope of work you want. You want scope 1 or scope 2, so we can move on with the final IFB.
Mr. Director?
Director Goku here. The Guam Ancestral Lands Commission I don't believe there is anybody that is more anxious to get this done. And so, although I agree we can't give it to you today, but I can pretty much guarantee that we will, by close of business Friday, we will come to agreement on the scope of work and we can move forward. And
Shall we wait for that then? Or?
if the board can give the go-ahead just for the scope of work, and so they can move forward, and if it's required by the board that we got to bring it to the meeting to approve it, then so be it. But I'm just saying that if the board is in agreement to a quick fix, although it's a quick fix, we have to ensure that the scope of work is listed here, because again, contractors, knowing contractors. There are some contractors that are not of the highest integrity, and they will take advantage of the language and the scope of work. And we'd be remiss if we didn't do our due diligence and ensure that even with the most simplest of tasks, that it's adhered to. And that's my recommendation. If you allow me to work with them, we can bring it forth, and Gita can go ahead and present it to me, and if we want, we can meet.
Let's do it.
We've got to move forward. We realize
this
we
is
need to
already
move
I
forward.
understand this correctly. You guys will make the decision and give it to us by Friday?
By Friday, close of business Friday.
Okay, all right.
Close of
Yeah,
business
so
Friday.
everybody can thoroughly review every step of the scope of work.
We're eager.
here.
We're eager.
Yeah, so
Because we
can
did move
on.
with the last RFP, we need to just...
Yes, yes.
Okay, so do we need a motion for that or what?
No, I have a suggestion.
Check.
Commissioner Orlino, maybe we could break it down and do it by increment, what the project scope of work here, and then break it down into 4 so that, like you said, they could just do a shortcut. And whatever is here should be like 1, 2, and 3. And when the first part is finished, first increment, then we could check, who's going to check it, and then that's when the payout is. But they have to finish that increment 1 and then move to 2.
Understood.
Because if you just put everything like this, they could just, like you said, compile everything and just do a shortcut and say, oh, this is done, this is done. How do we know? So if you break it down by increment, and then that's when you go and check, and then payment will be made. As I would suggest, that would be the best way to treat this.
Make a motion.
Do we need a motion?
Are you susceptible to that, amenable to that, Mr. Ariola, representing Gita?
Sure.
As going in phases?
Yeah.
Because Gita's in receipt of $93,000,
Right.
right? The Guam Ancestral Lands Commission for the previous
It's
bid.
whatever you guys, if it's whatever you guys want, we will do for you.
Yeah, we'd rather have it like in stages, so that the first stage,
Different phases.
we have got
Okay.
Lisa and Ms. Wessling and our director looking at each
So
phase.
break
and
it down
approving.
into 4 phases.
Yeah, at least at least 4 phases would
Yep.
be good for that. I would think, right? What do you recommend?
Here's Gita's recommendation, okay? We looked at scope 1.
Scope 1 and scope 2.
Right, scope 2 is a longer process. You got to take into consideration the weather condition. It's going to take a more lengthy delay. I think our biggest goal here was to fix the roof, prevent that, no more leaking of the roof, and going expensive. So with that said, scope 1 will take care of all of that. As opposed to scope 2, you have different steps, you have regulatory requirements,
Right.
You have project conditions.
Let's go with scope
You
1.
have
Let's go
execution.
with scope 1.
It's more tedious. And
Scope 1?
two.
Yeah, but let's go with scope 1. Okay.
Yeah, everything that we backed off from the original scope is with scope 1. Another thing, it's going to be sorry. Okay. All right. So I guess scope 1 it is, right?
Scope 1?
Mike, Mr. Cruz?
Yeah.
Just,
Now we can do the inspections to take care of Commissioner Orlino's concern. We can inspect with the director as we go along in the different phases.
And it includes the stages, Nate, that we're looking at?
Yes.
But it'd be
Got
all
it.
under one contract,
Yeah.
one contract.
Sure, right.
Okay, I will make the motion then.
Okay.
I want to go with
and the
you.
payment plan will be in full or half?
No, not before.
Whatever the commission wants. As the stages are done.
You wanted them 4 increments?
Yeah, 4 increments.
You don't
Yeah.
give lump sum to anything.
4 increments of
Jump,
payment
jump.
as the each stage is done, you release them.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
no lump sum.
So all right, that solves
Any final
everything
words,
with the.
Director?
So may I make a recommendation so that the board consider to make a motion to go on that? So Mr. Ariola, I would assume that the first stage is to properly clean the existing roof slab, okay, and remove the debris that's currently on that sealant that's on the roof slab now. Okay. And to dispose of that trash and not to leave it there in an interim before the project is done. They have to finish that before phase 1 is done. If the board is amenable to that, I would suggest that that payment be made for phase 1.
Right.
And then the next phase, of course, after the inspection, by Gita and myself, would
This
be
time.
the application, the preparation, the application of the actual sealant. In the recommendation that was made here, it says 2 coats. I would recommend that it be 3 coats of silicone paint, and it's got to be top grade roof paint.
Mr. Director, and they did give me water blast, no sandblast, right?
And I'm not going in regards to the tar that the Navy used to use in the contractors that I've seen working in other federal buildings. They were actually torching it
Okay.
to remove the tar. That is what I have seen them do in the
Okay.
past.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
So they did give me water blast.
that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, so work on that next.
So wait, is that going to be put in the scope?
That's on the first stage. The first stage is that whatever is acceptable with an industry standard,
Right,
and that is why we initially requested.
Okay.
Mr. Ariola, that's why we initially requested that we get a contractor that knows how to work with those roof coatings and the Navy, the contractors. Because it's not anybody can just clean up that roof slab. There's certain OSHA requirements and EPA requirements in regards to the smell, the odor that comes from that. Certain requirements are needed, like for gas masks, or not gas masks, but protective equipment for the workers. Okay. So that once that is done, and the surface is clean and inspection be done, okay. And once that is done, then the first increment be paid. The second phase, if there are hairline cracks visible, then of course to apply an epoxy or whatever is an acceptable industry standard to deal with that. To provide a solution for it, an accepted industry standard. Okay. You're going to need, that would require that there be an epoxy there, but it also require that for the holes where the 3 separate holes where the roof was compromised, that mortar has to be applied. Where the vents, the ABS, 2-inch ABSs are protruding the roof. before. This is after initial construction, and they would have to apply mortar and ensure that it was built up. In other words, it would be where the water would run off, or that new mortar that's applied that's around that roof vent. There are 3 roof vents there that are causing leaks into the building. That's one of the major concerns. Okay, once any hairline cracks are detected, okay, that would be in the rear of the building. The 3 holes that have been used as vent holes, you have to build that up with a mortar, and then from there, that is when you're going to need to apply in my opinion, you would need to apply the sealant, whatever the sealant would be. But instead of 2 layers, because I'm assuming here we're talking about silicone roof paint, which is a quick fix. And 2 coats would not be sufficient. I've worked with, yes.
GLC Director, I want to say you're adding on to this scope of work. Scope 1 is what we discussed earlier.
Right.
Now with the additional information that you're adding on,
that's scope 2.
You're adding on
that's
to
scope
2.
That's
so
phase
what
2.
You're telling me now, okay.
That's phase 2. We've already finished phase 1, and we're recommending the cleaning, the proper removal of the tar, okay, and water blasting is going to be needed.
Okay, let's clarify again, real quick. We've got scope 1 and scope 2. So we were going with scope 1, but you're saying parts of scope 2 is being added to scope 1.
Yeah.
So do we need to?
Part of what he's adding on is on scope 2. Did you want to consolidate both now?
Yes, that is what I'm trying to say. We're coming to the point now that we're talking about the scope of work, so we can go over the IFB, correct? Mm-hmm. So the process can move forward as quickly as possible. Is that what we're saying here?
Can I ask a question?
It's a longer process.
Is scope 1 involved in scope 2 already? And scope 1 is just basically a scaled down version of scope 2.
Right, it's a simpler method.
So basically, scope 1 is in here already in scope 2. Correct? It's just more detail, more work.
No, scope 1 is way different with the.
Also, there's stuff that's in scope 1 that's not in scope 2.
We agreed on scope 1. That's final already.
Yeah.
But what Director Ngoko was adding on was to add the additional work requirement of scope 2 into scope 1. So that's why I came back with asking: do you want to consolidate both scope 1 and scope 2?
May I speak, Mr. Chairman? Just to clarify, whether it be consolidating scope 1 or scope 2, the board is happy to move forward to try to get this out and done as quickly as possible. What was just agreed to earlier by the board members is that first, I would be involved in the scope of work. Okay? Secondly, I would be involved with the inspection of the stages, the different stages. What I'm recommending here is for the scope of work. That is what I'm recommending, to move forward, and by Friday they will come into agreement. They will make a motion for it. We will come into agreement. That will be included in the finalized scope of work, and from there we can move on with the IFB or whatever else is necessary to finish this process. So we finished with the scope with phase 1, with the cleaning, the removing the debris, and the cleaning, preparation of surface, be it to melt off the tar, water blast the tar. Okay, that is the first phase. Okay, that is the first phase.
Can we? I'm sorry, Director. Can we go? I kind of tend to lean towards what the director is saying, only because he's very familiar with this, contracting work and some of the stuff with the work. But if it's okay with you, he go ahead and add some of the scope of work. We'll give it to you on Friday, and then we approve. We're basically going to approve what his recommendations
Here's
are.
what I suggest. I gave you guys 2 scopes.
Yeah.
You can get together and review it thoroughly, and then give us your decision by Friday.
Yes.
And then we'll move forward with the final IFB.
Okay.
Got a
Mr.
Cruz? Got a comment?
Mr. Chairman, yeah, I agree with what Tony's saying and what the director's saying. if the motion that the commission would entertain is to approve the issuance of the invitation for bid with the final scope of work agreed to by the director. That way we don't have to come back to the commission in 2 weeks or whenever your next meeting is.
Understood.
Okay, good.
Understood.
So you want that?
And this would be done by Friday. So if the director could provide us with his comments on whether it's 1 or 2,
Yes.
provide it to us, we'll incorporate it, and then we'll issue the IFB.
Okay.
We've been sitting on this IFB for a while now, and rainy season's going to come up, and they're going to get wet again already. So if the board would entertain a motion to approve the issuance of the IFB with the scope of work that's approved by the director.
Okay.
And
Okay, I'll go ahead and make that motion to approve the IFP.
Okay.
Okay. With the scope of work to be issued out on Friday by the board and the director.
Recommended by the director.
By the director, but I also just one objection on elastomeric. I'm not too comfortable with elastomeric paint. Maybe that should have been silicone, right?
It's silicone, not
That's because it's
elastomeric.
the last 2 coats of elastomeric paint. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable with
It's a lot more
Yeah,
expensive.
get out the elastomeric. So that's my motion to approve the IFP, so that we can get it rolling. And then we'll give you the scope of work on Friday with
Yes,
the director's
please.
recommendation.
All right. So we're good with that?
I want to make it clear that.
Just a second, I got this
so that
motion
we-
on the floor.
I'm sorry.
There's a motion on the floor.
Yeah.
The
It's
discussion.
the second, then discussion.
Yeah, I second the motion.
But still. Bishop, okay, motion to amend,
No, expand it.
expand, Bishop. After the motion.
So that we don't have to keep go back and forth, that we give authorization to our director to approve the, any additions to work. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
Thank you.
what that's actually included in my motion.
Okay.
That's actually included in my motion. Yes, it is included.
All right, thank you.
But just that you put it on.
So just go ahead
Okay.
and state the motion.
Okay, so they're going to do.
Do you want me to restate my motion?
Yeah, Bishop.
Okay, my motion again is to approve the IFP that Gita's going to put out, okay? And then by Friday, we're going to have the scope of work finalized and given to Gita to be part of that IFP. That's going to be issued. That's my motion.
Okay, so you guys should get introducing as
Second.
Madam Chair Arino.
Okay.
Okay, but we'll discuss the show. Any discussion? Raza, President Preba. Todo man for me, Salan again.
Okay.
Okay.
Raza, this is Preba.
Okay.
Go ahead, take a record and on Preba. Okay?
Pass.
Continue, Mr.
Okay, moving on down to Anderson Solve, the 395 acres of the Marble area property. We completed the draft determination of need, and I believe we gave the chairman and the executive director on December 18th to review. And Gita is just ready to issue the determination of need and the RFP for a long-term lease. So I guess that's it. That concludes the report.
Legal counsel, Nick, is there any questions that you might have in regards to that?
No.
No. Nothing further.
Okay, and that's it. The quarterly report was not a 6 month as requested. It was the first quarter of 2020. That's pretty accurate, and we did provide each and every one of you a copy of that.
Acknowledge.
Mr. Cruz?
Can I go back to Anderson South? Is the commission allowing us to publicize the determination of need? We would need a motion from the commission if that's what you want us to do.
Mr. Mandistura, are you?
No.
Okay, sure.
Can we hold off on that? Just for
No.
yeah.
It's up to the commission.
Let's.
No, estamos avanzando, no, Mr. Cruz, todo, Mr. Viola. Está ready to go, right?
Listo para
Está
publicar.
para publicar.
Yeah.
Ron is to publish.
Yeah.
Basically, the process is we would publish it. Any comments we would receive from the public, we would present to the commission. The commission then would approve the determination of need. So
Okay, but that doesn't, that board is not basically yet approving our request for proposals yet.
No,
This is a determination.
Yeah,
This is
just
a
determination of
Okay,
need.
okay, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with
Okay,
that.
Make a motion.
Okay,
Ik heb een motion.
Okay.
Had u een motion?
yes. Does somebody want to make it? I'll make it again.
Make it.
Okay, I'll make the motion again to issue out the determination of need. Gita, we're authorizing you to
Right.
put out the determination of need.
Sa siguro dozi. Ati. Commissioner Cruz.
That's for Andy South, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
determination of need for Andy South.
Mark with the 395 acres.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ati po sige dozi sa timigay.
That's it.
Okay. Commissioner Cruz, sige nga dozi. Todo conforme. Gan.
Okay.
Okay.
Gan tada. Sa prepa.
Taza.
Todo conforme. Okay. So Masi, tada ma.
Okay, that this concludes our monthly progress report. We'll see you in another couple of weeks.
So just Masi.
Masi.
Luwadaya, Friday, please, we're waiting for that so we can put finality to this whole
Right
thing.
on.
Okay.
Está. Okay.
Okay, Mr. Rela. Start.
Thank you.
Punto. Right, well, good job, good job. Okay, start. Kayong probably na letter B. Mr. Director.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Vice Chair and members of the board.
Okay.
We have been working on a budget here, the supplemental fiscal year 2020 supplemental budget request that was approved on January 22nd, the last board meeting that we had. There was a quorum of 5, and I just wanted to clarify it for clarification for you there, Mr. Vice Chair. The total inclusive of bidding up agency in regards to personnel,
Okay.
in regards to equipment that we don't have,
Yeah.
in regards to moving to a different office space, in regards to contractual services that we are going to need, in regards to surveys, legal services, legal services, investment consultants, managers, and just for we are going in a new direction, Mr. Vice Chair, wherein it's not only leases now. We're going to need in the justification that I provided there, the justification narrative. I have found out over the past year that there are records missing.
Okay.
That's a justification for more land agents and for clerks. We're going to need a record clerk to be in compliance with local law in regards to the retention and security of records. Okay, we can't hire a records management officer, that would be too costly. And so we're going with the records clerk that would be trained in that field, that would eventually fill the position of a records management officer. Okay, we also need clerk. These are these clerk positions that are in the fiscal year 2020 budget and 2021 budget request are for entry level clerks, clerk 3s. If you went for clerk 1 or 2, you're pretty not going to get. You're going to get somebody right off the street that has no experience whatsoever in working with clerical work. So their salaries are I would say at the beginning stage and entry stage salary in regards to in comparison with other entities. So in regards to the clerks, that's a necessity. We need it. We need it for records. We need it for accounting, for minor accounting. Okay, in regards to the land agents, as brought up to the last meeting, and it's there in this budget, this supplemental budget narrative also. It's the same as last supplemental budget narrative for this fiscal year 2021. The budget narrative is the same, the justification. Okay, we're going to need the personnel simply to go and research, be it at courthouses, be it researching different properties, be it working with surveyors, be it working with anything related to investment or property, buying, selling, developing, as you can reference to in that Radio Barragana map, where in the Blas, Flores, Jesus Christ, Camacho, there's several families involved up there in Route 15 in Manila. We have the map here, the very rear of your folders. And let me pass it around real quick for your just for a here. There's 4 of you. The dots here, you can see it. I don't know if the dots are dots up there. Commissioner Ecavea. The dots. This is where the proposed entry area is. There are dots here. Okay. Or she has it over. Yeah, there are dots. Same like that. Yeah. You can pass it around. The dots indicates these 8 dots indicates the 8 parcels of Spanish Crown lands.
Wow.
The green area, okay, Joey, if you want to clarify that.
Yeah. Holy smokes.
The green area, some areas have already been determined rights of way.
Yeah.
Okay. But the red areas here is where the proposed rights of way, where we have to conduct surveys, pay for the surveys.
Yeah.
Okay. The rights of way, so that okay, pass it on to everybody.
You know easement plan?
For the Radio Barragana area. For the Radio Barragana area.
Too small. Ron, could you see it?
Yes,
It's too
this is
small,
for
the
all the
numbers.
surveys we're going to need to do. It's not going to be enough, Mr. Vice Chair, on the fiscal year 2020 budget request. For the properties, I believe we have 1,955 acres of Spanish Crown and Land Bank Trust properties. None of them are surveyed, okay, to my knowledge. It's going to cost more than $100,000 to do that. But in order to try to keep in line and to balance out the usage of funds, we're trying to break it down here and prioritize the areas that are most necessary, such as this area, the Radio Barragana area, where people have been waiting to move in. A resolution has been done by the board that I'm sure you board members are aware about in 2016. The same resolution supporting the survey of rights of way. And we cannot get the Department of Land Management surveyors to do the job simply because they are busy with many other projects for the government of Guam. If we were to get the Department of Land Management to do the survey first, it would not be done in 6 years. We're never going to move anywhere.
So what do you need now to get going on the project?
That's the only thing is that once the board approved the budget at the last board meeting. Right. So now I've got a motion, but for fiscal year 2021, there's also the request for contractual services. As I said, the amount that we requested in fiscal year 2020, the supplemental, it's not sufficient. It's not sufficient.
How about the increment? Is that including the increment for the classified employees?
No, that's just contractual services that I'm talking about.
Oh.
That's just contractual services.
No,
Contractual services is for any additional legal help that we may need, surveying that we may need, any title search, any type of services, ladies and gentlemen, that we may need. Okay, but
Mr. Director Koskawa, Chairman,
no, he was not.
Okay.
The Secretary Treasurer acted as the
Both of you were
I know next
out of commission.
right.
to receive notification and all that to us. So,
And then you came down with the flu. You were sick. Yeah. The justification.
Commissioner Clavea,
Yeah.
we were asking 1.3.
For this year, but before we continue, I like the board to know we were originally going to go in appropriated funds, working with line agencies. Just yesterday, I worked at my request to the front office because fiscal year 2021 budget is due on Friday, and you will see the memorandum in your packets indicating that we have to turn in a budget
For 2021.
for fiscal year 2021. Okay. Now, I spoke to the special projects coordinator that is very well versed in regards to administrative matters and also in regards to accounting procedures and establishing revenues. Establishing funding sources. And this is the recommendation that she gave me yesterday after I briefed her on what the board's policy was in regards to placing money into the Department of Administration.
Okay.
She recommended that we go in a non-appropriated funds fashion, but a non-appropriated funds method. But that would just need a law to be created by the legislature, wherein this agency would base it in an autonomous fashion, and it would. I'm at the expense of oversimplifying the matter. We would not have to share the services of the Department of Administration, of the Bureau of Budget and Management and Research, okay, and the General Services Agency, because they fall within the Department of Administration. In other words, the procurement, the budgeting, the accounting would be a separate budget aside from line agencies. Okay, we would still have to follow procurement law, but not have the Department of Administration do it, because we are sharing a short staff, a very short staff, and it has cost this agency to lose several $1,000s. And I will give you an example in regards to computers. You submit your request for computer equipment. Okay, this is a hypothetical situation. That computer, okay, is listed as being $1,500 in cost total for everything that a computer system requires. But that offer only lasts for 1 year. And this is not the only agency that suffers this dilemma and this problem. Some purchase orders do not make it out, so in that 1 year time. So when that purchase order finally gets to that company that got the contract with the government of Guam, guess what? That offer for that same computer at a cost of $1,500 has gone up to $2,000 or $2,500. See, that's what's going to save us money and then save us the heartaches of having to wait too long for computers or survey services or any other services that the agency would need. So it is my recommendation to go non-profit funds. Also, the board, particularly the Secretary-Treasurer, would play a major role in monitoring the accounts within the GALC. Okay, it would go hand in hand with being an autonomous agency. It would facilitate matters and make matters easier for the board to do, which is what I have observed the board has been wanting to do. Okay, and this is the opportunity to do it.
Okay, Mr. Director. Now, Mr. Attorney Galc, have you reviewed and advised in this matter that this commission will be in operation as an autonomous commission in managing bonds, everything in what we described, or vision within this commission?
Yes.
Its function?
Because we're generally being cast off the general fund, the suggestion would be to go to the legislature and ask them to reclassify Guam Ancestral Lands Commission as an autonomous agency, and that would involve moving the entire Chapter 80 from Title 21 into Title 12, the Autonomous Agencies section. And
What was that title again?
currently we're in Title 21, Chapter 80. And Title 12 is the listing of autonomous agencies.
So before we even take into consideration, I think that we need to start from there, and we need to justify our attempts and put it in formal writing and describe the structure and the processes as to how this is going to take effect. I think that's what it requires.
I've asked that question, what are the steps that we need to take?
Okay.
And what is the time frame that you anticipate in order to achieve our goal in being an autonomous agency?
That's good. Any further comment?
I would say, sync it up with the time that where we stop receiving general fund money,
Right.
so that it's a clean stop and go, basically. Yeah.
Right. And not only that, when we do make that request, we need to prove that we are not really using the general funds for us to operate.
Correct.
As of fiscal year 2021, the ancestral lands is receiving zero from general funds. Already the initial budget has been put out. Ancestral lands couldn't put it out because we didn't have any admin people to do it. And so it came out, I saw it, and it's zero general funds. It is only 290,000, that is in the SID fund within accounts. In other words, the way the process works within a DOA, and let me clarify it for you, Secretary Treasurer. This is line agencies now. This is not autonomous like GORD. This is line agencies. These are appropriated funds. 290,000, is in the Survey Infrastructure Fund that was created by Public Law 34-108. It's a special fund for the Guam Ancestral Lands Commission. The subsequent budget law, the fiscal year 2020 budget law, that's Public Law 35-36, mirrored Public Law 34-108. In other words, they mirrored it to say that the special fund is what's going to fund the Ancestral Lands Commission, but this is the last year, fiscal year 2020, that we received any money from the general fund. As of October, starting October 1st, 2020, there will be zero general fund. So, in the recommendation of the Special Projects Officer, which I have gathered from other agencies because she's a troubleshooter, she recommends, because of the status of this agency and that there's a board, that we go into non-appropriated funds and follow shortly thereafter, or even simultaneously, with a bill to become an autonomous agency. But this is the but we need to get the operations going, and I would recommend that GALC approve fiscal year 2020 supplemental budget request be moved in a non-appropriate funds fashion, so we will not hold it up. We need the personnel, we need the equipment, we need the supplies, we need the contractual services. We can't stop the operations, and the board will take a big part in that because, as I explained in that January 22nd meeting, there is this form that I provided in your files. It's called a personnel job description questionnaire. And you have, I'll give you, for example, real quick, a land agent 1. It is a generic position that Land Management, Chamorro Land Trust, Ancestral Lands Commission, Public Works, GPA, Guam Water Works, EPA has.
but a personnel job description questionnaire specifies what is unique to the Ancestral Lands Commission. In other words, the board, before I put out the request to the Department of Administration to hire, the board has to say, I want this job title to do this, specifics tailored to the objectives and the mission of this
Mr. Director,
commission.
we need to talk now, but I think we need to meet with the lawmakers, particularly the oversight chair on this commission, before we take any action, and we sit down and possibly a roundtable discussion, and let them because it's going to take legislation to take this and that path that you're talking about. I don't want this commission to start taking action and without our leaders knowing the plan, of the strategic plan of being autonomous.
No, that's autonomous, Mr. Vice Chair. That's understood. That's a different situation from non-appropriated funds. Non-appropriated funds is not a complex route such as
still,
that.
We're taking action as a board to utilizing funds already without, despite having our full, still as a line agency. And I think we should be cautious about that. I think we need to get our, I would like to see that in writing with the budget that we were not funded for 2020. I'd like to have that right. I would like everything in writing so we can review the
Mr. Vice Chair, it is here. It is with that budget, the supplemental fiscal year 2020 budget request. It's in the rear. No, that is the last year that general funds are going to be there. Starting fiscal year 2021 is when it shows. It is in the back of the supplemental budget request here. It will show the breakdown that zero amounts are coming from the general fund. Stand by.
Any comments from the commissioners? I think this is a big step. I believe, Mr. Director, I believe it is in charge of the Committee on Lands, right? Oh yes, Senator Terlahi. Have you been in consultation with our plan, with this plan?
I have attempted several meetings, maybe about 7 different attempts to meet with Senator Talai. She has neither responded to me by email or by phone call. The last engagement that we had with Senator Lai was the oversight hearing. And I have requested meeting with her after that several times, as a matter of fact 3 times. And I don't know if the messages are not getting to her, but this could be worked through with other senators, okay? But what I'm trying to say is that the supplemental fiscal year 2020 was approved on January 22nd, unanimously.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, that one, there's a resolution, based on the motion that was agreed upon. There's resolution that 2020, it's resolution number 2020-003. Okay. And resolution GALC resolution 2020-004, they appear to overlap each other, but it is a little different in that
let me get my words right here. It compares the 2020-003. It states that the budget was passed and this amount needs to be withdrawn from this account number at post 360 member number savings account number for fiscal year 2020 supplemental budget request. Okay.
That's on the bottom line.
Yeah, that's
The
on
first page.
now on GALC resolution 2020-004. It goes into detail and explains. This is for the legislature now, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
For the legislature to know that we cannot move, okay, and that whatever steps are going to be taken for this agency moving forward, okay, and if you look at it,
All I'm saying is that we need to. It's a good plan, but I would like to get feedback from our lawmakers because we're handling with a lot of money. They're at 6.5. This is 1.6 and 1.6.
1.671 is almost 1.67. It's almost 1.7.
Yes.
But I'd like to remind the board members and yourself, particularly Mr. Vice Chair, that we are starting up an agency. I have given the justification, whereas the Ancestral Gas Commission was created in June of 1999, and it has evolved. The board has evolved. The agency has evolved. When it was created in 1999, I believe it was Mr. Ed Beneventi that was the executive director or the director. Okay, well that happened, and in 2002 or 2002, 2003, 2004, that I've read from the Centrix report. That is when the majority of the properties were given back. And that is beautiful. Many properties were given. The board did their job, but there's also a secondary. There's also a secondary mission of this agency, and you're very aware of it. And so, all the board members is to build up the assets of the Land Bank Trust for purposes of compensating dispossessed landowners. I've done everything I could in regards to the transmittal of the draft bill down to the Lands Oversight Chair, Senator Therese Delay. Okay, but the secondary mission there that the board did, and I will be very frank about it, is that it is to act as a trustee and an administrator to do what is ever necessary with current assets, mainly the Spanish Crown lands, to develop, okay, lease or buy, sell, lease, okay, which includes paved roads, water, power, infrastructure is needed, okay. This is why the surveys are coming in. Now, the board only sold the property because it was a proposal by either the lawmakers or the governor at the time in regards to the Guam Water Works. It was not because the board was seeking actively to sell the property.
No.
I've already discerned that. I've observed and I've read the reports. The board, in order to move ahead and make money for the dispossessed landowners, there's over 36,000 acres, okay, of property. 2,000 landowners or claims filed in the John Bond case. When I reported to the board and the justification and have reviewed the records in the John Bond case, the federal government paid the ancestral landowners 18 cents on the dollar. Okay? With the money that the board has made since June of 1999, that's less than 6 cents That's less than 6% of 1 penny to pay these landowners. That is not, in my view, there's something has to be done, and I mean aggressively, because the leasing lands is not going to do it. Buying, selling, reselling, developing, investing is the way to go, which is the necessity for this. And the legislature does not need to come in here and hold the board's hands to teach it how to invest. That is the...
Mr. Director, but the primary existence of the commission was to give back the lands to the original landowners who were dispossessed. That's now the creation of this commission. But I have not questioned anything. But before we make any, do we need to get this signed? I think we should have all of the commission members be present along with the chair before we put this into a resolution or into motion. I don't want to take action as an acting chair without the presence of the other 3 commission members. So you're asking that we pass this resolution right now?
That is what I'm asking, simply because it was approved. It was approved that by a quorum of 5, unanimously approved at the last board meeting, and it's due and it's just.
But I think we have 3 that are missing here, and I would like to make my right on that matter and allow them to be here when we make that decision, that final. I think it's only right. This is a big step right here, Mr. Director. We are looking at a resolution with a big number here. And despite not speaking with, I think we still need to make attempts. I'm not trying to hold back anything. I just need to make sure that we are following in what is good, what is right, and what is just for the benefit of all dispossessed landowners as well as commission members, and to just make sure.
May I make a suggestion? Because I know this is a big step for the commission members.
Yes.
And we are worried about, we have such a big budget, and we are trying to zoom in into what we need to do.
I agree.
To use the money to make money. But we also would like to have a month, every time we meet, we need to have a report on what was spent, and so that we can see what we are spending and what we've approved, so that if the director is going to make any purchase, he will need to identify from what budget, identify like FY20 section 112, and the budget, the amount of budget for that fiscal year, and so you make a countdown, so that we know we're comfortable, because we meet, but then we're overwhelmed with so many things to think about. So we're not trying to micromanage, but it is really big for us. So we would require a report every time we meet on what we have spent, what was budgeted and what you have spent, and also anything that's maybe over a certain amount, you would need to get the regular 3 signatures: the director, the chairman, or the vice chairman, or the secretary treasurer. So
good point. Go ahead, Mr. Cavea.
Okay, basically, can we just go ahead and continue discussion on what we actually approved? I mean, we passed it unanimously. Let's just go ahead and try to understand what we actually approved and what that entails. That way we're on the same page. Let's go back to the minutes of what we actually approved, so that at least we're all on the same page. We can look and see what we actually approved and what.
And that was approved at the last meeting.
Yes.
Yes.
For the 2020 supplemental budget.
Put my vote.
Already approved.
I wasn't there.
But let's review it next, so we can get an understanding of what we actually approved. What we actually approved. So can we go back to the minutes?
So before we go back, I also assured, because Commissioner Ecavea placed certain conditions on the approval before the motion was made and seconded and voted on. He made the recommendation there that in order to approve, ladies and gentlemen, in order to approve the budget proposal request, fiscal year budget 2020 supplemental budget request, is that there will be conditions and that the board would be notified of any personnel hires or purchases of contracts, because this is a board, and that is, you folks are the trustees. You have a fiduciary responsibility to the dispossessed landowners, and we're all aware of that, which is what I agreed to, and it's in the board minutes, and if it's not typed out, it's recorded.
If we can,
I'm in agreement.
let's go to the motion.
On the second page?
Yeah, let's go to the motion so we can at least clarify what.
Okay.
Is it the motion is actually on? Yeah.
It was under the acting chairwoman Cruz.
I refer back to the minutes.
Yeah, we're on the minutes.
Wait, Chair? Excuse me, to acknowledge presence of
Yes, Commissioner
Angela.
Angela, welcome. Okay, we are on.
Okay, let's go to the second page.
Go ahead.
We'll go to the second page.
Sure.
We're on the motions that we made the last time. On the second page.
Wait, I cannot find my minutes. I lost it. Wait. Got any extra?
Yeah.
Minutes.
Look at the very back one.
I think this is it right now.
Oh, because it says here the... Oh, yeah.
On the second
right.
page, yeah.
Yeah, second page then. I have it.
But that's not the actual motion. It was seconded by... Yeah, it was seconded. Also, it was Commissioner Olino that...
Okay, right down here.
Yeah.
Made a motion. Go ahead and...
And so we're at the bottom of the page, Commissioner Calvera stated that they were in discussion with the added assurance to the board that the board is basically in the future going to be approving the positions as the need comes, notwithstanding the positions that were already in place, like the directors and the land agents that we already have. Notwithstanding that, but the recruitment, I think that's a typo, but by the recruitment side, the board will have the assurance and the confidence that they were moving as needed. So,
Yes.
so if you could, my next statement there stated that it was not for the others forthcoming, but basically that they are approving the supplemental budget and the positions, and also that the board moves with the hiring of positions as needed or as they start to get busier as it calls for it. So in essence, when we're approving the budget is basically ready to hire, but it's upon the board's approval of these positions as needed.
And I believe it was also included with Commissioner Camatsu's concern about the vehicles.
No, I said
Major purchases.
Yeah, such as the...
It's all in there, Vice Chair.
And on my third statement there, you would see it. It says that stated that the board would be the approval mechanism
Yeah, I understand.
by which they were going to fill those.
Because
it wasn't an arbitrary.
Because the last supplemental budget that I saw, there were 11 positions. Now there are 16.
This is the amended one.
That's what I'm saying.
Same as this one. The amended we approved. Is that correct, Commissioner Cabea? That's what we
approved. As far as I can tell, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's the one. And if you look at it, it's the same one, right?
It is the same one. The only thing we took out the provision to use the SID money to purchase properties.
Because I was looking.
So this is approved already then?
The amended, yes.
What are we discussing?
No, the resolution.
The resolution was decided.
2020-004. And I believe,
003 and 003.
Your name on there.
yeah, two of them.
I'll sign it. That's what I tried to tell you, this is going to be approved.
Okay.
And I wanted to wait till sure it's here that
No, you cannot because it's already approved.
May I address the board? It's approved by law. Okay? There was a quorum. There was unanimous agreement. Motion was made, it was seconded,
Okay.
votes were taken, it was all ayes on the 5 board members. It's approved. Now, again, the assurances are there
And the minutes.
in the board minutes. I don't know what else I need to do to let the board members know that I will consult with them. But what is happening right now, this holding back, it shows me that $8,675,000 that's Host 360 is only there because the property was bought by Guam Water Works. But nothing else has been done to increase the assets really. And at 0.6% of 1 penny. That is.
But nor nothing has been done to disperse those funds as well to the original landowners.
That is what.
That is our priority.
Now that priority there, we're talking to pay it back. And I will remind the board again that I have brought the thing down. Not only has Mr. Toft emailed and transmitted the draft bill to Senator Telahi, and not only has he mentioned it at the oversight hearing, I have spoken to her about it, and I have requested several meetings. Now, as for roundtable discussion for that, I'm in total agreement that the draft bill, that is understood, money has to be paid back. But we cannot pay it back one time. We have to make money to continue building up the land bank trust, because there's 2,000 cases, the John Bond case, and to pay them 0.6% of 1 penny per square meter is unacceptable. The Navy even paid more in the John Bond case with an average of 18 cents per square meter.
We're not basing ourselves on that, are we?
But what I'm trying to say, members of the board, is that is why the aggressive push to not concentrate on leases only, but in other words, to invest in other innovative ideas to make money to build up the land bank trust assets. And in order to do that, I need the resources. I need the personnel. I need the equipment. I need the supplies. I need the training. I need the outsourcing of services. And as former board member, Mr. Antonio Sablan said, how can we even deal with it when we don't even have the property surveyed? See, that's one reason for the costliness. A large budget comes from contractual services, legal services, surveying services, title research services, investment consultants, management services. Those are the kind of services that this board needs. And that is the justification. I do not know what else to say to convince the board to sign this resolution and let's move forward. It's already been approved. Thank you.
Then you guys sign it.
And take note that after 2020, there's no appropriation. How is this GALC gonna operate? Survive? After 2020, no more. So that's why we have to move into 2021 to make this non-appropriated funds autonomous agency, and then move into a non-appropriated fund.
Okay. You guys ready to go ahead? What is it again?
Well, let me add a couple things real quick. Regarding the agency, the operations of the agency, we are moving. Before we were consolidated with the land management, right? All the land management CLTC, and so now we're out on our
we're on our own. We have to go autonomous.
And we're all alone, and now
Was that indicated in writing from The legislature?
It is in the narrative there. It is a fact. It is a governor's very first executive order.
Executive order.
2019-001, ladies and gentlemen of the board. I suggest we keep up with the issues that concern the Guam Ancestral Lands Commission.
Yeah, so we're basically separate entities, and now we're in the
We are
process of-
completely separate.
Being
And
autonomous.
now we're moving towards being self-sustaining. We need, we're not going to be here.
We
in
need the
in
budget.
this, office space.
Let me clarify it, Mr. Vice Chair. We do not have a vehicle from the separation. We do not have one computer. We do not have any desks, chairs. It has been brought up by Secretary Treasurer Cruz that where's the desks, the chairs. I do not know. All I know is that I have a mission to do for the governor and for the board. I work for both of you. And I can't do it if I don't have the resources. I don't know what's holding it up. It has been approved. Okay? I need something to do. In other words, and I added additional conditions to satisfy the board. Okay? That I will come to you for positions, for spending. There is nothing else that I can do to tell the board that you should have confidence in what I'm doing. I am putting it straight out. It is in minutes. It's in recording. It's in the proposal. It is in the resolution. I highly recommend that this gets signed so we can move on to other business.
You guys sign it, man?
I will sign
And
it.
it's all in the minutes as stated before. Commissioner Orlino, Commissioner Cruz stated whatever purchases and everything, it's right here.
Yeah, one more thing I just want to add, Mr. Chair. Just one more thing. Yes. This board has a fiduciary duty to the trust, and we've kept that fiduciary duty as best as we could all these years, almost 2 decades. And at the same time, the government of Guam basically put out the policy that this is what we're going to do for the dispossessed landowners. Otherwise, the ancestral lands would not have been created. They had this policy about returning original lands to the original landowners, and they created the agency, but basically funding and providing for that agency, this agency throughout these 20 years was, we all know, we only had one director and one land agent.
One land agent.
That's all we had for all, and basically we did have a budget for the rental, I guess, at the time, but now
We're sharing.
Now they really want us to.
Can I clarify on that budget for the rental?
Yeah.
First of all, after 2004, the employee numbers were GELC, and it's a budget narrative that I prepared. If you folks read it, it has declined significantly until you had one executive director, one line agent, and that's Joey Lindgrell.
Yeah.
Okay. Couldn't get the quit claim deeds out. It was left to him to interpret many things. At times, the board did not have legal counsel. You got in trouble with Wisco and other cases.
Because we didn't have.
Now I am showing you the way. I am giving the opportunity, and you're holding my hands in regards to services that's needed. Listen, wait a minute, Mr. Secretary Treasurer. It is being held up by uncertainty. All of it is right there in the supplemental narrative that I did. And if you would have read it, you would have known that it's all there. In addition, I agreed to the conditions that the board wanted. To consult with the board, to get their approval, personnel, including specifying exactly what those positions are to do for major purchases and for everything else. It is all there.
What I wanted to tell you is that I would like to work with you. You know, I know I cannot provide an 8-hour, to go there, but I would like to go to the office more often, okay? Because I want like a more comprehensive plan, okay, whenever we use funds, I want to make assure to the board that it is authorized and, that we do have a budget. And so we count down on that budget and we identify the fiscal year that,
And so are we going to move forward? How are we going to move?
It's really important to us, so I'm willing to go in more often to see you whenever you say this is what we're, to see what we're on the same page as the commissioners and where we're at the budget. So,
That is understood. That is understood, ma'am.
Mr. Chair, may I finish my...
Go ahead, Mr.
Yeah.
Commissioner Cabell.
Just to finish what I'm saying, this is pretty comprehensive.
Yeah.
It's pretty comprehensive of what the positions are as needed. It's pretty comprehensive to me. We need to, if we need it, we hire it. We can tell when we need it because our hands are tied when we're moving forward towards development. Having an agency that has these kind of powers to develop, to act as developers, to create revenue, you need money,
To make
funds to make money, and so but basically what we're really moving forward in is having us independent. We're getting our own place, and so basically this is what we're looking at getting right now, and with the other personnel, the director comes to us. Okay, we see we need this. We're moving forward. Can I get the board to approve these positions? Then we move forward because we're going to see it.
I think excuse me. I think the board is for policy, and the administration is for operations. So you got to make sure the board does not interfere in operations.
Well,
not a policy making board.
Well, that's the compromise we had in me making that motion, and that's what I guess made the board comfortable as needed. Otherwise, we were just giving a rubber stamp to a blank check and just go ahead and. But at least we're moving forward. We need to be.
We have to move forward, not backwards.
You guys have your signatures.
It's approved already.
It's approved already.
The accountant is very
All we need is the
important, so we
signature.
can
No more
hire one
discussion.
that will not put in us in 3 months.
And an agency needs funding. It needs employees. It needs to work.
You need the staff to
We need the
function.
staff.
We're not questioning that.
We need the equipment. Yeah, that's basically what
The contractor.
we kind of confidently move forward with. On the other investment stuff, we move on with approvals of that. That's not an arbitrary, decision on anyone's part.
Okay, Director, you got a comment?
First, as Commissioner Cabello just stated, I put out, and I've stated also, I put out as comprehensive a plan I could with the personnel I got, and we need to move forward with different strategies instead of just trying to lease properties. That's just going to fund operations. That's basically the bottom line. Okay. As for the accounting, their Secretary Treasurer Cruz, that you have a very important function. You are the treasurer for the board.
You have to be there.
You can go on your own. You can go and request. You can prepare your own report for your board. I will support it. I will support it because I do not have a CPA on board here. Notice, in order to save money, I put in for entry-level clerks. I just finished explaining earlier, entry-level accounting clerks, entry-level records clerks, instead of going for full-fledged CPA or records management officer that makes over $60,000 a year. You understand what I'm trying to say? If you look at the FY supplemental FY 2020 budget, you have the pay ranges, you have the positions, you have my supplemental narrative request justifying the need to move forward. I have explained that in the past, only $8.75 million has been generated in 20 years since the inception of the Guam Ancestral Lands Commission. Okay, now are we going to keep waiting on leases, or are we going to move forward with other investment strategies?
How are we going to make money for these land loans? We want to pay them back with the draft bill. How are we going to pay them back? Will it be finished? Will that 8.75 million be finished? It's not sufficient to pay them less than 1 cent per square meter. I don't think that would be satisfactory to any of the board members. See, we've got to go in aggressive efforts in investments in order to make money. That is my only suggestion. But I'm going to ask that this resolution 2003, 2004 be signed, because it has nothing to do with fiscal year 2021. It is an it's explanatory to any other entities, be it the governor, be it the legislature, be it the OPA, be it to the public. It is self-explanatory, it is detailed, it is explaining the need. And that is why we're requesting that this resolution be signed. Fiscal year 2021, we can take it off the table, and I recommend that board members review it at home. And if there are any questions, we can discuss at the board meeting, next board meeting, or can call me up and we can meet at the office.
So I'm
But we
ready
have-
to sign the resolution for
Thank you, ma'am.
2020, and then
Because we have other matters here. We have other matters here to attend to, and it's about.
you're gonna sign 2020, then later we'll move into the 2021. Okay. Sign it.
The two resolutions, like 2003, 2004. And you guys,
Oh, he's got the fish. Oh.
003,
there's two resolutions
Yeah.
there. That's it. Just for the board, if I may address the board again, Mr. Vice Chairman. There are no other resolutions that I will bring forward simply because from the expertise that the front office, again at my request, to provide us a person that's knowledgeable in funding and to go in the non-appropriated status. She's recommending it based on the fact that I have a conservative board, which is all of you folks, and she's taking that into consideration. And so that's why we're not going in a appropriated fund fashion. We are not going to receive any more general funds.
so
We are
to go
completely out of it.
non-appropriated.
So it's all non-appropriated funds that belongs to the board, stays within the control of the board, which is what the board wants. And that is the route that is going to be taken. Okay? So once this is done, this is signed. Thank you, I appreciate it. I would recommend highly, because we got many other issues to discuss here, to take the fiscal year 2021 budget and with the justification narrative, review it for the next meeting. But I have done my duty. I will report to the governor that board is taking it into consideration. Okay?
So I'll sign the original, ready to sign now.
Okay, but
Okay.
Mr. Director, on the 2021, can you provide your price quotes for these numbers?
That's based.
Yeah, I think you should require all price quotes, and are you in alignment with General Services, your communication with General Services, GSA, on these numbers, or for the numbers you're indicating in your line items?
Yeah, this is not a line item budget, Mr. Chair. Mr. Vice Chair, what I'm trying to tell you is that Administrative Services Officer James Diaz was working with me. I discussed it with him. He has an enormous record. Now, I do not have access simply because I don't have a computer, because this agency, this board, has not got me a computer because I don't have a computer. I don't even own a desk. I don't even own a chair. It belongs to the Department of Land Management. But we understood where we're at here now.
But remember, it's not like we just started. We weren't born. We were in a relationship with them.
That is correct, Mr. Vice Chair.
There's a mutual understanding that they're not just going to dump you.
That is what I'm trying to tell you.
That's what I'm
That is what I'm trying to explain. I've been explaining to you that for the past few months, the past year, Mr. Vice Chair, we lost the services of the ASO Virginia Flores at Land Management. She doesn't work with us anymore. We lost the services of Mr. Joseph Cruz, the program coordinator that belonged to the Chamorro Land Trust Commission. We only had, since 2006, I would say, there's only been one executive director and one land agent, basically, if I read the Centrix report correct. But
when it was split up by the governor's executive order, first executive order 2019. There was a transition period we were working. However, because of the split up, the agencies were scrambling to try to reestablish their budgets. DLM had their administrative services officer. CLTC had a program coordinator that were both in the same field of work. Ancestral Lands didn't have anybody. Guess what they did to the Ancestral Lands? Your guess is as good as mine. Okay? We need the personnel. Bottom line. If I don't get it, I will produce for this board what I can. If I don't have an administrative services officer, nobody's going to get paid. The employees won't get paid. Your stipends won't get paid. The ads won't go out. Nothing's going to happen because I don't have the assistance of an administrative officer anymore. This is just the front office being generous and gracious enough.
We understand.
Okay. So we don't have the services, the help of any of those agencies anymore.
Can we take
Yeah, go ahead, Commissioner
Just one
Lino.
question real quick. I just have one more.
Let him, he wants the
quick-
question.
Go ahead.
Does the acting chair have the authority to sign off since she's acting chair?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, he does. Oh.
But I don't think I have the, I would like to get my right on this because I wasn't present at the time during that meeting, when they approved this. So I suggest you just wait for the chairman to put his signature.
But he wasn't here.
Well,
He wasn't here either.
but he's chair. I'm not chair.
Mr. Vice Chair, I recommend I'll sign it, and since the Secretary Treasurer was there, she'll sign it, and we'll wait.
Yeah, I get it to him.
Yeah, and then we'll call him in when he's feeling well, and he can sign it. Would that be sufficient for the board?
It's only fair, Mr. Director, that the chairman put his signature on it.
That's fine.
I wasn't there, and I just don't want to.
Well, if the governor's not there,
That'd be fine.
then can you
I
have
wasn't
it
there.
before and for the
I wasn't
governor?
there.
I mean, if the board approves it, we can
Moving on.
whether or not.
Okay, so Joey, do we have the original here?
I think those are it right there.
Oh, these are
Those
original?
are it. Those are the original. I believe
No,
so, right?
the original for the resolution.
Yeah, they were handed to me. Was that these are all the originals and they're all the
Yeah, they're all the
Okay.
same. This is
So
all
let
original.
me sign it. Let me sign it today.
It's a signature and it becomes an original.
Right. But they're all original. 5 minutes. That's
Okay,
all.
yeah, there's a call for recess, Mr. Director. I think we'll take a 5-minute break.
Yes, sir.
5 minutes, and
Yes.
then we'll go to the next.
Yeah, then we go to the next and then sign that.
Yeah, because I got to perform.
Okay. Thank you.
Let me have the,
Joey?
Okay, Andy, can you give them a call? Tell them we'll have them the solely clear to them by about 10 till 5. Okay.
Yeah, please, we are in item number C, Mr. Director.
Okay, those were the resolutions 2020 -003 and 2020-004.
Okay.
They're all that, like I said at the beginning of the meeting here, is the purposes of. It's not only for reiterating what the board agreed to unanimously on January 22nd, but it's also for other stakeholders, be the governor's office, legislature, OTA, for the public, the general public to know that that's what happened. But the purpose that this fiscal year supplemental 2020 budget was put into
All right.
proposal and voted upon.
Okay, so we move on.
So because of the recent developments, where we lost the detail employee, the detail ASO James Diaz,
Okay.
I have to cancel out on that because we've got the recommendation from the special projects coordinator that's recommending that we go non-appropriated funds, which is in favor of the board's policy of being conservative and maintaining control of funds. So that's control.
Okay, E now? Letter
Okay. Legal counsel did prepare, I believe this is it, right, Nick, the email thread. If you look at this here,
Yeah.
Okay, legal counsel expressed it here that the only people that can make more than $100 a month, am I correct, Nick? Are the board members that have served more than 10 years, okay? I'm in the interpretation, and correct me if I'm wrong there, Nick, as long as there's a quorum, or, of the board members that have served more than 10 years, and you have a quorum for any, I would say a quorum of 5 for land matters, and a quorum of 4 for administrative matters. Am I correct in that? Because I believe that is the law. 5 for land matters and 4 for administrative matters. Just as long as there was more than one meeting, more than 2 meetings in a month, the board members that would attend, if you have less than 10 years, you'd basically be serving for free. And if you have more than 10 years, then you'll be compensated. Okay. Am I
Can you
correct
further
in that?
clarify that,
Yes.
Mr. Because we were having different interpretations as how that be interpreted. Can you just explain the? Because we're limited to 2 meetings per month.
Right.
At a maximum.
250 divided by 2 is 125 per meeting.
Unfortunately, it has to be read in conjunction with the law on boards and commissions, and that has a standard set of $50 per meeting for every board and commission.
And this law amended that to make it 125.
And let me stand corrected, Mr. Attorney. Other than the Public Utilities Commission, they have their own, and the other one would be I believe, there are only 2 of them. I think it would be the Port Authority. I think it could be the Port Authority that have that's separate from the one you're mentioning. But go ahead, Ms. Continue with what Commissioner Cruz had mentioned.
That's my interpretation, 125, and amended the original amount of $50, and it's still twice a month. So if it's a maximum of 250, divided by 2 months that we meet, it's 125 per meeting.
That's how I was seeing it too, because it would make sense if we're trying to have multiple meetings throughout the month, 4 meetings within the month. We'd only reset two meetings.
Because that has not changed in the law. It's 2 meetings per month.
Correct, although you can have special meetings or executive sessions and things like that. And I
Or
think
emergency meeting.
that's probably what this was intended to cover, is that there have been boards that have had higher volume of meetings than usual due to these special meetings. But the problem is the language in this law does not supersede the Boards and Commissions Act. It does not explicitly repeal that.
That was done by Senator Adam, and I think he realizes how much work, we put into the commission, and maybe that's why he would. Because we've been a commission, we're one of the agencies that have commissioners that have been much longer than 8 years. We've been maybe 12 years now, 12 or more.
If that were the case, he would have said this amount per meeting, not this amount per month. Because if it's the problem is the Boards and Commissions law has a per meeting language. This does not explicitly repeal or overrule that.
That's your interpretation.
That's my interpretation. If you do know of other boards and commissions that are receiving more, let me know, and I can talk with their legal counsel and figure out what their basis for that is.
Okay, so we have a meeting this Friday to sign the resolution. I'm just kidding. No, go ahead, Mr. Director.
The board members asked for it. I asked legal counsel to research it.
Yeah.
He did, among other things, and answered that as he's with the Attorney General's office, which is the chief law enforcer of the island.
Okay.
And basically
Okay.
where it stands.
Yeah. I think bring it back. It's the second one is I think is Department of Education. But I know as the Utilities Commission, specifically in the law, those are the two commissions that are separate from the, they have their individual stipend allotted.
That may be something we may be able to seek out when we go for autonomous status as well. I know Public Utilities Commission is autonomous.
Yeah, because I know the Public Utilities Commission, they get a monthly.
1,000.
Yeah, 1,000.
But they're autonomous.
Yeah. And the DOE's, I think, is 100 per meeting. DOE's 100. Okay. Go to the going line item number F. Go ahead, Mr. Director. Oh, no.
I can skip it.
Oh, go ahead.
So this is just for previous board meetings attended. Just need to submit a filing of which meetings that you attended that you were not paid for, and then we can process it.
Oh, yeah. I think Mr. Leongora, Mr. Joey, can that be accomplished, established?
Just work
Okay.
with DOA. And I think they keep track of.
Yes, the last person that was doing it was Mr. Cruz, right?
Yeah,
Joey?
Yeah, Joey.
Okay, so if we can address that, Mr. Director?
Move on.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. Since we need to get that key over there in 15 minutes.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Attorney Toff, on that matter. Okay, number G. License Guam Sexual Lands license proposal for Apple Harbor reservations. Further elaborate on that, Mr. Director?
Okay, this is the expression of interest. But,
Oh yeah. Okay, we have Mr. Mike Wincalco. Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
It's just
Sorry.
basically a review
Yeah,
of,
thank you. Sorry for the wait, sir. We appreciate your presence, and just state your name and your affiliation, and go ahead, present your concern.
I'm sorry, Mr.
Go ahead, Mr. Director.
Vice Chair. Before we go on, may I suggest that we give, for purpose of expediting this meeting, because we've got another matter here.
Okay.
But if Mr. Nichelko can just rush through it real quickly.
Yeah, can you just do it briefly, sir? I think you did submit a write-up, right? We have something here from you?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Director.
Okay.
Board members, my name is Mike Nichelko with Pacific Unlimited. Subject to the prior meeting where we discussed our interests, well, initially we submitted a letter of interest for the board's consideration, and I attended the last meeting in which we were asked to submit a proposal.
Okay.
One of the things we did is it was recommended by the board the last time to follow the same licensing agreement that was previously provided for the same parcel, which the director provided me, and which we amended. So we kept all the language that was in the existing licensing agreement.
Yes.
And modified it to represent what we were looking for, and therefore believe that it's in front of you for consideration.
Okay, and has this been presented to our attorney already for review?
Yes.
Okay, and your findings, sir?
As far as the proposed changes to the draft, they're all acceptable. The one concern I had was regarding 3A as far as the size of how much would be available for resale.
Okay.
Check with the board as far as how many acres would be.
There's only
There's only 3 available? Only 3 available?
No, it's not that there's only 3 available, but there's also an expression of interest by another entity
Okay.
that wants a long-term lease. But I expressed earlier in the board meeting, they are looking for a long-term lease.
Okay.
Yeah,
And-
anything after 5 years
And
is
yes,
needs to go through.
and I'm awaiting the results of the grant for the Brownsville
Okay,
funding, okay, because
Okay.
that
Clean up.
entity wants to try to knock down the price of the lease, although of a price that we've already got the Brownsville application for
For
grant
cleanup.
funding to clean it up.
okay,
Okay, so that's why, because the remaining is what he needs for his business, And I'm hoping that this 3 acres would be sufficient for Pacific Land Limited.
And this is only for year to year? Is this you're requesting?
The request was actually for 4 years. I think
That's the minimum.
The commission is allowed to enter into
Right.
agreements up to 5 years,
Right.
but not to exceed 5 years.
Right.
So yeah, that's what we put in the licensing agreement is for the 4 years.
Okay.
I think there was discussion from Gita in the last meeting
Right.
that they are going to pursue an RFP for the same parcel. I think that they had pursued an RFP, but there was no expression
Right.
of interest,
Okay.
no responses to the RFP.
Okay.
So we proposed 4 years.
Okay. What is your, Mr. Executive Director, what's your recommendation on this matter?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Mr. Galc here had requested, I believe, was 60, 90 day turnaround on since the beginning of the expression of interest.
Yeah, that was our initial request to expedite it, but I mean it's to the whatever the commission decides on
Okay.
how we want to treat it.
To be very honest, I mean, if you review this, I would suggest that you review it, look forward with your legal counsel. And if the board is based on the proposal there that the legal counsels looked at it, if they're for it, then the board can sign and
Take action.
and we'll do whatever we need.
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
Just one of the things that we incorporated was just the feedback from the commission on the last one. There was discussions about revenue sharing. So the lease contains options to these additional portions of the
Participation rent, is that what it's called?
Yeah, participation revenue. So we incorporated that in.
Okay, good.
There was a discussion of 2%.
Right.
Okay, thank you for that. Commissioner Cruz?
My concern is that, this is like a regular lease where, if it's a regular lease, we have to take a look at the fair market value in that. And it was my understanding that it's going to be only a 1 year's permit because anytime that we decide that it's going to go to, we're going to give it to Gita to manage for RFPs, that we will be able to terminate this license upon a 30-day notice. So now it's this is new to me. This is going to be the first time I've seen a longer than 1 year license.
So,
Go any further? Okay, Mr. Director, can you?
Okay, just for clarification, thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman, Executive Director Goku here. First of all, we can go lease, the board can lease up to 5 years without having to go and go to the legislature, okay? Secondly, you've been apprised of it here, Secretary Treasurer Cruz. Okay, this is brought up here several times back. Thirdly, Gita is not involved in this because it's only a licensed by the board. I would recommend very highly that some of the documents, it's hard to pay attention, but some of the documents that are submitted in board meetings have to be looked at because we need to move forward on this. We can't lose opportunities. Quite frankly, Mr. Liptiaku is a local business, and all the board members have agreed, and I have recommended that we support local business, and we can't lose business just because we're not.
And how much is it?
There to pay attention. That's what I'm trying to say.
1,000 a month for 3 acres, so that's 2%.
Just to clarify.
Okay, hang on, Mr. Let's go. Order, please, Mr. Attorney Toff. Go ahead.
Just to clarify the last meeting, with regards to the fair market value, Mr. Liptiaku did mention, and I think the board was in agreement that if we were seeking participation rent, then the amount would be less than fair market value as to offset that. It was basically allowing the commission to take the risk that business would be good for his company and then to enjoy that participation rent. Or the board could just take fair market value flat. And the board decided to go with participation rent.
Okay, wait, hang on. We'll go down the line. Commissioner Calvert raises his hand.
I'll go ahead and yield to
Okay, go ahead.
Again, the participation rent here is that if the leaseor is going to have other people, is going to sublease it, then we were going to earn money from that subleasing participation rent. And this is something new to me, and I'm just something for the commissioners to think about. You know, a permit, a license, again, it's supposed to be only 1 year and a 30-day notice for us. It's subject for us to terminate anytime, we find, we decide to give a ticket for an RFP. And I am, yeah. Otherwise, if you erase that 5 year, and make it a 1 year, and when we're not going to use it, you come at least 60 days before the board to renew it. That's fine. And you can even I don't know.
Okay. Go ahead, Commissioner Clavea.
Yeah. Just to clarify real quick regarding the last RFP. Yes, we did have one tenant. One interest, and we were in negotiations for almost a year. So there was but the negotiations fell through. So then we're still at this point whether we were going to RFP, because it's not just this part. It's about 15 acres that's involved in it. So that's just for clarification purpose. We did have, and it was basically dealing with fair market, issues that was the stumbling block with the. But since Gita's not involved, typically when we did licenses throughout the year, because we didn't really have a proper legal counsel, we kind of limited it to a year, the option to extend. But I think recently our legal counsel clarified that we can go more than. Is that correct? We can do more than a year, right?
Up to 5.
Okay, yeah.
The board needs to give us direction as far as.
But we do have the authority to lease up to 5 years. But the past years, the reason why our secretary was apprehensive because we kind of played cautious. And when people came in, okay, we'll give you a year, and subject to you coming in, prior to it, at least 60 days prior to let us know that you want to. Are you have any reservations regarding if it was fair market value? It might be lower, it might be higher, a bit higher. I don't think it's that much of a difference in the fair market. It might be I don't think it's in the thousands. I think it's maybe just 100, a couple hundred. The fair market value.
Just to be clear, from the last meeting, we utilized an existing document from the last tenant, right? These aren't our numbers; these are your numbers.
Yeah, but
this is the same agreement you entered in with the last tenant. All we did was.
Yeah, but that was years ago. That was with a company called Kinnick. Yeah, and we haven't done.
Actually, I think the company was a company called Transsteel.
Yeah, Transsteel.
So it was
that area. The last one was Kinnick. That was on that one.
Well, the agreement that was sent to me.
Okay, that's on a separate. That's a separate. I don't think that's because he wants the clearing part.
Yeah, the staging.
Yeah, we're looking at it right now. I think that's the property here on the far left, right? I think it's lot F12-R2. And you're going to take the back, right? You're going to take the back portion of it, the property? Director, you want to comment?
What I'm recommending is that this be the back or the front, and it's a cleared area, but just as long as he would not block, would not take the entire access, the roadside access, and the other interested party would have a means also to roadside access. Would that seem fair to you, Mr. Galc?
Yeah, the entire parcel has roadside access, the whole frontage does. So we wouldn't block the access to the rest of the property.
No, we're not talking here. We're not talking the front side. We're talking from the back side. If you're taking, we're talking on towards the back area here. Not the road front
Sorry,
here.
I can't really see what you're saying. All I know is the roadside frontage is here, right? This is the parcel that we're talking about. Mm-hmm. So there's adequate frontal space for any number of tenants that you place in the land here.
Doesn't matter.
Well, it doesn't matter which one you choose.
It's in your packet.
What I'm saying is that you can
But
access
the
this
plan
property.
is done still. The template that we use.
Yeah?
No, the template.
Then we'll have a meeting. Okay, Mr. Chair, Mr. Director, maybe Mr. Director, Lingnet pasaan sa kalantiman siguro siya. Magkaroon ka.
I'm recommending that he take it home.
Yeah,
put it
okay,
with his
then let's
attorney,
move on.
Unless
Okay.
May I, before we table it?
Okay, Mr. Limtiaco, can we would like to have one of our commissioners have a comment here on this first.
I guess with the proposed lease, could you also indicate a proposed area of the license? I'm sorry. Proposed. Yeah, you're right. Proposed license. A proposed area on the map that because it says 1 to 3 acres. So, do you grow? You start off with 1 acre, and then you decide, well, my lease allows me to go 3 acres. So then you're going to grow it. Well, which way do you? And I don't know. Are you going to start out with 3 acres on the get-go? Should we just say it's 3 acres and at $1,000? Do we have to say 1 to 3 acres?
Well, that was the going from the additional acres was part of the feedback that we got from the last meeting, was that the commission was seeking participation, right? So if I don't have any additional business, there's no sense in me leasing 3 acres, right? But if there were to be additional business that would come from it, we would subsequently rent additional acres, and that's when all of the participation revenue would kick in. But as far as how it's chopped up on the map, as long as we have road access, it could be anything the commission wants. However you want to chop up the parcel to create those 3 acres, it could be however the commission wants. As long as we have road access, meaning that we come in through the Flowers Point entrance and we have access into that area, it doesn't matter how the property is configured, however the commission wants to do it is fine with us.
So we'll table it.
Okay, but Mr. Director, let's say Mr. Director, so running on time. Go ahead, Mr. Director. Go ahead.
I'm just recommend that Mr. Limtiaco, can you bring it to your corporation, and as soon as you can do it, we can bring it up at the next board meeting.
Yeah.
We will still be within that 90-day turnaround period,
Right.
correct?
Yeah.
And so we can get this done,
Yeah.
because I have 2 more items
Yeah.
in the agenda that really
Okay.
to be attended to.
Appreciate that.
And
Go ahead, Mr.
I think you need to clarify the lot number, because the other ones are very contaminated. I mean, they got debris all over it. So I'm thinking
The
here,
lot number is
the one is 20.
It is specified.
identified.
Oh, okay. But when I went up to you, said it doesn't matter. That's the only reason I said, it didn't matter. Yeah, but I
I'm
guess.
saying it doesn't matter
Yeah.
which lot of these you choose, as long as everybody has access to.
Well, meaning which on the specific clear lot you're talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, on the lot that's identified in the licensing.
On the license, okay. And that is F12, right?
Yeah.
That is what
R2.
F12-R2. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, so correct. Okay.
Just highlight that in yellow. Go ahead, Mr.
Okay.
Attorney Cobb.
Very briefly, so for the next meeting, if the board can review this and just give us feedback as far as the term, does it want it in a 4-year chunk, does it want it in 1-year chunks with ability to renew, and then as far as the price per month that, like Mr. Limtiaco said, that was based off of the 2017, the same price per meter as we've given to Transsteel. And then again, with participation rent in there for any additional acres.
Yeah.
So the board should consider those 2 things if it has any additional feedback, because those are going to be the major terms going forward, I believe.
Okay.
I think, that he's flexible as far as location and can work with our people on that. And I think there's definite understanding that the road access for any potential other tenants in the area is a key concern.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
May I recommend, Mr. Vice Chair, that we move on? We
Okay,
have
yes,
one
let's
more
move on.
pressing
Okay,
matter.
thank you,
Mr.
Mr.
Desmasi.
Limtiaco. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Just in 5 minutes.
Go ahead.
Mr. Vice Chair, let me bring up to the board. This is Mr.
My name is Ron Binondo.
Ron Binondo, and he lives up there, Joey, am I correct, in the northern market area?
I'm gonna assume, I haven't gone out on the field, I haven't verified where he's at, I don't know, I can't say.
This is with Mr. Camacho's
field site visit.
This is the area. They had a land use permit since his parents or his mother had it since what year?
1975.
1975.
Since 1975, and I'm here today because of I was doing this in good deed where my parents has passed on, and I went to Guam Water Works, Guam Power Authority to reconnect transfer the power under my name, but I couldn't because of the situation of I wasn't leased of this property.
Okay.
Now I am qualified for the land list, and what I was asking them that if I could just establish where I'm at, because I lived there since 1975, and that's where I'm at in between that and GPA. Still, they need some kind of documentation saying that I am present, staying there, and it is saying that it is okay to stay there, but I still needed some kind of permit or documentation saying that they agreed that I can stay there. So that's
under your name.
Under my name.
There, that's the issue, not your parents' name.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Director, go ahead.
So to facilitate this meeting, to make it quicker,
yeah, go ahead.
May I recommend to the board that that the agency generate for the board review. This is part of these are part of those homes, the COTC, landless people that are somehow brought onto ancestral property or were there before they were declared ancestral lands, and it presents a legal dilemma, and for the whole council here to work it out, because we've got to work this out with the Tomorrowland Trust and other entities, but to generate paperwork, documentation to the utility agencies. Where the Guam Ancestral Lands Commission
requires our
temporarily allows them in a rent to stay on the property simply for humane purposes.
Yeah. So
and not to make a decision at this time.
But to make it short, Mr. Director, why don't you take action on that and do what needs to be done with the attorneys, and get it all prepared, and then present it to us. Because you need to be with the land trust too, also. Okay. So whatever you do with land trust, bring it back to us, and we can. We'll work on it. Just prepare it, because
or a document that gives us temporary.
Yeah, we're in support of having you take over. That's it. We're in support, but make sure the director take care of it. What needs to be done? Paperwork, right?
I would ask Mr. Vice Chair, because the time is really short, is that I generate the correspondence with Nick's review.
Yes.
And then I bring it to the chair,
right?
Vice Chair,
okay.
Secretary Treasurer,
right on.
You know what I mean. And if my signature needs to be fixed, I will also put it there, and we will not temporarily allow it until we can find a generalized solution for situations such as this.
Yeah, legally too, through land management and their functions and their operations. Yes. Okay.
Okay. So
take care of that, Mr. Director.
That's an old one.
All right. So I will generate that. That by next week.
Okay.
And I will make sure that I hold.
Yes, sir. ASAP sa Tataza funded, right?
No,
yeah,
we used to have right now, but they just want to get it online where they won't cut it off within 30 days.
Okay, so then take care. Yeah.
Just for the board's information, there, Mr. Chairman, I did take action.
Okay,
because they did cut his power.
Okay.
And I did take action. I went to CLTC, so they would turn back his power temporarily.
Yeah.
So yes, I did act in it.
Right on.
But I'm only the director, and I need the board's approval.
Okay, go ahead.
It's a temporary fix.
It's a temporary fix.
Okay,
let's do a formalized one.
Just get us what we need to approve it.
But I did take action.
Okay, yes, sir. Good job, Mr. Director. Okay.
Yes.
For the good of
Okay,
the-
senor. Entusiasti. Si Mr.
And then
Director.
he'll get us what we need to sign.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, senor. Yeah, we'll say when it comes to us. Okay, any more matters, Mr. Director? That's it, no business?
There's one more matter, at the very rear of your files. I'm looking through the equation of all the accounts. I went to
Oh, yeah.
360, I
Right on.
went to the very rear.
What is it?
There's an account that's dormant. We need to do something.
Okay, and they just deposit $1. That was supposed to be, Chairman Ada was supposed to deposit $1 in there.
Wow.
It didn't happen. It went over on
Okay.
January 31st.
Okay, so,
So I'm gonna have a resolution done up.
okay.
Now, how much would,
Yeah, just put
$5?
What's the requirement? Just put $5, yeah.
$5.
For now, and
Okay,
then bring it to us.
$5. Somebody want to recommend?
Okay.
Make a motion so that
Make the motion, it was motioned by Mr. Clavea.
Okay, I make the motion to deposit $5.
Seconded by Ms. Kamat. Angela. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, no objection? Approved. Okay. Go ahead, any more? Go ahead.
I want to make a request. There's a lot of things that we have overwhelmed us. If we can, give it to us in email, these documents so that we have a chance to review it. Because if we have a chance to review it, we won't have all these questions. And so if we can get all those resolutions, things that we're going to be reviewing, at least 3 days in advance. That's all I'm asking. I know you don't have the personnel, but once we get you,
get the budget in and get people working.
Okay, we know now.
And we
We
hire.
have enough personnel.
Okay, go ahead. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion, yeah, second.
Okay, it's moved by Madam Chair. There'll need to be seconded. There's no discussion on that.
next meeting is
Next meeting is
February 26th.
February 26th. Next meeting February 26th. Okay, good meeting, good catch. Gotta go. I'm gonna watch my game.
So Nick, did you measure the tape?
Okay, Joy.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the Christmas card.
This was a long session.
Christmas card, no? Okay.
Nagtigisa si Kata.
Yeah, could you go ahead and sign
Okay.
also the...
Okay, we'll see you. Okay, Mr. Director.
Mr. Chair, could you go ahead and sign the... Could you go ahead and sign the minutes?
Ron, Joy.
Do I get the minutes there?
Ron, okay, hold on in the background.
Ron. Pitma.
The minutes.
All right.
There you go. There you go. Minutes.
All right, where's
That was, no, she signed it.
So,
One more thing.
Right?
I don't understand everything.
One more thing.
Wait.
But you're the one that your name is on the. No, she has to sign it from last. That's her signature. Okay. Nah, I'm not gonna. Okay, let's okay.
Hey, Ron, one thing before you go.
No, my nephew.
Oh, hey guys. The determination of need already was given for that according to Kida.
Which one?
That we can go more than 5 years, and that is what I understand. To determine the
We don't need a determination
No,
of need.
because it's less than
It's not
5.
involved.
Yeah,
We don't need a determination of need.
No, I'm talking about over the 5 years. We got the determination of need from that for that property already.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. We can go beyond the 5 years. We have the authority to go beyond the 5 years.
What I told you already.
Yeah.
There's a concrete bad plan that the entity wants to do.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna give everything to them and then it's gonna
Yeah,
cost myself a making.
Yeah, and then the participation rent there, because it's based on, what's the percentage, Ron, on the participation rent?
2.5.
2.5, but when we put it in
2.5.
I know, but you gotta make sure, because he might be making,
but sometimes it's advisable, sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
Who's gonna monitor it?
no. Well,
Him and his staff.
executive director. No, see, unlimited, Pacific Unlimited. Don't do you want, he's handblasting and then they do. No, no, Mr. Director, no, so you do the criminal agency.
Wait a minute. Who wants to pay the contractor a lump sum?
Thank you very much.
Thank you also.
No lump sum pay, that should never happen. It's by increment.
Is this on?
Eh, como pulos din.
Some Ron wedding, but you guys were in the dark. See,
Thank you.
Ron, are you okay?